Good afternoon, dear guests, dear colleagues, dear friends. My name is Marius Jedlotschka, and I'm very thrilled to welcome you to today's event in our series Cities and Regions in Focus, with a spotlight today on Kiev and Kiev Oblast. This event is part of the German platform of the reconstruction of Ukraine, an initiative of the German federal government. The platform brings together organizations and stakeholders based in Germany who are actively involved or interested in supporting Ukraine's reconstruction. Today marks the third event in our series. Once again, we want to take a closer look to who is active in the city or oblast and which topics and challenges are shaping the region. Our aim is to provide valuable insights, foster synergies between different stakeholders. Before we begin, just a quick technical note. This session is being recorded, and the recording will be made available on our website. By participating, you agree to this recording. With that, I'm happy to hand over to Constanze Acker, who has prepared today's session and who will guide us today through the program. Thank you so much, and I wish us all an insightful and productive discussion. Over to you, Constanze.
Thank you. Dobro dnia, guten Tag, welcome everyone. First and foremost, I have to thank Lena, who is supporting technically today. And Lena, for our very first activity, I'd like you to unshare the screen, please. And everyone else, I would kindly invite you to open your cameras and have a look in the room to see who else is here. So you have to open your cameras if possible to just have an impression of all the participants of today's event. And if you hit the button participants or people or Personen in German, then you can also look up the names. Why am I doing this? First of all, to greet you and say hello. We're here together in this virtual room today. So if you also, I see a few of you waving, if you want to, go for it. And also to set focus on the fact that this session is supposed to be kind of a networking session, which is not so easy virtually, but nevertheless, the aim is to put each other in touch. And that's easiest if we have a little orientation who's here. So before I present today's agenda for the next hour or so, I would kindly ask you to fill in a poll. So Lena will share a poll with you with a question, and it should appear on your screens. And that is, what thematic area are you working on in Kyiv or in the Oblast of Kyiv? So you can hit the topic that is most relevant to your work into this poll. For example, if you work in the water sector, you put water. If energy is your field, you can put energy. And it gives us a little bit of an overview of what is the area you're working in. And then you will see a few words are already popping up. We can see the diversity of this group. And you can also like words if you are, for example, also busy in culture. You can like the word culture and it will get bigger on the screen. So I'll let you go for another 10 seconds or 15, and then we can have a look together. And please finish now. Now some are coming in still. So I see steel, funding projects, energy is quite present in the middle. health and psychosocial support, steel containers, dangerous good, legal consulting, district heating, industry and clusters, city partnership, recycling, and so on. Thank you so much for entering your topic. Why do we do this? To illustrate that the audience is quite diverse. What brings us together today is the focus on Kyiv and Kyiv Oblast. This event is part of a series of events of the Platform for Reconstruction, focusing on different regions. And really, the emphasis today is to get a little bit of an overview who else can be active in Kyiv. For that, I kindly, Lena, ask you to share the screen again. And go one slide further. Yes. According to the registrations, we have a big representation of the private sector today, followed by representatives of civil society, implementing development agencies such as, for example, GIZ, municipalities, administration overall, science and research foundations, and other, just to give you an idea. And what have we planned? On the next slide. We will start the content part of the sessions with 2 insights by our colleagues Alina Moskalenko and Viktor Irabukin from Housing Institute and Affordable Housing Institute, respectively. We thought, what will we do with Kyiv? So many actors in Kyiv region, so many topics that are relevant. So we thought we'll give you one inspirational start, focusing on the topic of sustainable and social housing and reconstruction. I think that especially in Germany, we have come very used to pictures of rubble in our media, in TV and in newspapers. And today, in the beginning, we will focus on what to do with building material and how to build sustainable communities in Kyiv Oblast. I will present the 2 of them in a second. Before that, I want to explain to you how we continue. We will open the floor for general exchange at 2:30 or 3:30, respectively. The possibility for questions and answers, but especially the possibility for you, if you want to raise your hand, to present who you are and what is keeping you busy in Kyiv region at the moment, which questions you have for the audience. For example, you are looking for a certain kind of contact, for a certain kind of information, you can share that. So it will be a very open exchange. And I'm sure we cannot hear everything and everyone today, but we will then after that give you a few channels to continue and to stay in touch. Important for us because we're really working with it. We're currently experimenting with this event series is the evaluation shortly after that. And then at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock Kyiv time, we will open breakout rooms, which are voluntary. It's optional to stay. So if you say, yes, we want to stay and network, you're welcome to do so. If you run to your next engagement, that's also very fine. I will explain that in more detail towards the end of the session. Now, I would like to present the 2 speakers. And Viktor, we've been in touch for a while. Say a few words about yourself. Who are you, please? And I think we can unshare the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, so hi everyone, it's a pleasure to see such an interest to the topic. I am co-founder of Vitsertse Budova NGO. Small clarification, I am not yet raised enough to be Affordable Housing Institute, but it's in the future. And our team is working on social and affordable housing projects all over Ukraine. And basically, we are implementing them through complex solutions, combining housing with social infrastructure and employment opportunities for people. So very happy to be on this call.
Great, thank you, Viktor. And Alina, who are you and why is social housing so important to you?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. It's a great pleasure to see you here. So I'm Lina Moskalenko. I'm the co-founder and the director of the Housing Institute. It is a Ukrainian NGO. I'm based in Kyiv. And as Housing Institute, our main role is support of Ukrainian government in developed new housing legislation, especially on social housing.
Thank you so much. And for all of you, you can look forward to a short input from the two of them on legislation and statistics, but then especially also focusing on business models that bring together government, business, and also the community and civil society in order to create sustainable reconstruction. Having said this, two more points in the chat. You can always ask questions and also present yourselves. You've already started that, so please do continue doing so. We'll have the chats before our eyes as moderators. And second, please also while listening, you can already think if you have something to contribute after the input, and you can be ready then. I have said enough. Alina, I will hand over to you. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much. So it's a great honor to join you today at this important discussion on cities, regions, and most importantly, about people. So maybe let me start with a simple fact about our last analysis of Housing Institute. It is analysis of municipal housing stock in Ukraine. So we see there are only 10 units of social housing in the whole Kyiv region, and just 72 apartments, like units, flats, in Kyiv city. So this is not just a low figure, it's an incredibly low figure. It demonstrates the scale of the challenge we face. So Ukraine's housing sector is in urgent need of comprehensive reform. The reality is that our country effectively lacks a functioning system of social housing. This situation is the result of an outdated regulatory framework and inefficient mechanisms of provision of social housing. So today, Ukrainian legislation defines social housing regarding the relevant law on social housing stock as something provided free of charge to citizens in need of social protection. However, the criteria for recipients are so strict that only the most vulnerable, so people with incomes below the $100 per month, only these people qualify. So this approach leaves the vast majority of people without access to any form of housing support. At the same time, international practice shows us a very different picture. In many European countries, social housing represents a substantial share of the overall housing stock, sometimes up to 20 or even 30%. I have just returned from Austria last week, where I participated in social housing school. There we studied Austria's highly developed social housing system, which shows how a well-designed and sustainable approach can provide affordable, good quality homes to a wide spectrum of citizens. Importantly, it is not limited only to the poorest cities, as in Ukraine now. Instead, it serves a broad spectrum of low and middle-income households. And it is managed by specialized housing operators who ensure quality maintenance and have an economic interest in expanding and improving housing. In Ukraine, we have recognized the need to change. So since 2022, housing reform has been launched. Its core is reflected in two important draft laws. And as Housing Institute, we are the co-authors of these laws. First one on the fundamental principles of housing policy, and the second one on social housing. At the same time, pilot projects for municipal rental housing have been initiated, testing more flexible approaches to eligibility and financing. And we know that these pilot projects could be in Bila Tserkva, Kyiv region, together with Mariupol City Council, and also in Kyiv region with European Investment Bank, with loans of European Investment Bank. So the reform envisions a new social housing system based today on several principles. First of all, is expanding the circle of recipients. So raising the income thresholds so that not only the poorest people, but also middle income families can access support. Then introducing affordable housing operators of different ownership forms who can manage housing professionally. Then creating a unified housing informational and analytical system like digital tool to ensure transparent and automatic housing allocation. Then establishing fair rents, not exceeding 20% of household income. Applying a point system to determine priority in housing allocation, and attracting diverse financing mechanisms, including public-private partnerships and so on. So these steps may sound technical, but in reality, they're about one single thing: giving people the chance to live in dignity in safe and affordable homes. So today, Ukraine is taking its first step toward building a modern, fair, and effective housing policy. A system that will not only correspond to international standards, but will also meet the urgent needs of our society in the context of recovery and rebuilding after the war. Maybe just one point from my side. As a Housing Institute, we are launching now the great project all over Ukraine for our regions and also for Kyiv region. It was educational program for representatives of state bodies, regional state bodies, and local authorities, local self-government authorities on housing and urban recovery. So it will be educational program for 5 days when we, with our team of lecturers, will have a comprehensive approach to urban development and housing. And in Kyiv region, we will have such trainings twice this year. It will be in November. So I think we will share the invitation for this training through the regional state administration. And I think people who are now with us, I see there are a lot of representatives of local self-government, of cities, councils in Kyiv region. You can also join this initiative and take part in these trainings. I hope it could be interesting and useful for you. So I am convinced that if we work together, like municipalities, civil society, the private sector, and international partners, Ukraine can create really a housing system that truly works for its people. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Alina. And I think working together is a great keyword to not only for this session, because that's exactly what the platform is about, bringing different actors together who are interested in working towards the same aim of reconstruction and sustainable reconstruction. But it's also a perfect bridge to Victor's input, who will give an example of how actors can come together to create social and sustainable housing. So before the questions, I would kindly ask Victor to take over and continue with your part and input towards the topic.
Thank you very much. Alina described perfectly what is basically what is the situation on the market right now, what we are facing, what are the challenges. And let me talk a little bit about proposed solutions. So our team is working on practical projects as well as helping with policy making. And we believe that there is an enormous opportunity to create a robust housing sector in Ukraine with a big important part of social and affordable housing in it. So I would be happy to share with you my research findings. Let me identify how to share the slide. No.
Now we see ourselves.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, let me check this one.
If not, give us a sign and Lena can maybe step in. But
Can you see it now?
it might work. It's on its way. Not yet. It's loading. Oh, there's a lot of suspense here.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't see it.
No?
Mm-mm.
And then I will ask Lena to share.
Yeah, Lena, could you share? Here we
Thanks.
go.
Yeah, please, next slide. So our big idea that we are translating in our projects is building complex solutions that will include access to social services and employment in addition to built housing units. And this should be done in affordable and sustainable way. So we need to find a balance between these things, and it's not easy sometimes. And basically, our main motto is building housing for people, because people in the center of everything. People can change communities, people can change economy if we create enough stimulus for that. Next slide, please. So this is a practical project that our team has developed in Kyiv, like concept of it. So initially it was intention of mayor of Kyiv that was very interested to develop housing for IDPs, because Hromada has more than 10% of IDPs in the structure of population, and they asked to build a housing, sustainable housing. And we decided, okay, we are not building separate housing units, we're building the whole neighborhood. So we asked municipality to allocate at least 10 hectares of land. At the end, they gave us 15 hectares of land, of municipal land. And we asked for certain conditions. We asked to give us access to infrastructure, like utilities, underground infrastructure, energy, water, and they provided that. What we faced is it's important to have right purpose of land to move things forward. So it's I am starting to share my tips. Please, if you're interested to build house, and make sure that you have land with the right designation, or you can help to designate it in the right way pretty quickly for your partners that will develop this housing. So first reflection that I want to share is that in addition to land, there is a big need of support on a highest level, like support of community, local community, to avoid conflicts and build in sustainable way, not just in terms of environment, but also in terms of community cohesion. So it's 500 units of housing, as you can see, and this project includes also bomb shelter, it includes community center, it includes kindergarten, and this is different typologies of housing. Please, next slide. Very important to make it sustainable and green, so people can relax. People can find not just they're not here to just sleep in these houses, right? They want to live life. So we need to think about well-being of people when we are doing these projects. Next slide, please. So these are different typologies. You can see that it depends on the landscape of your respective communities, municipalities, but mainly it should be 1-2 story buildings or different typologies. Single-family homes, it could be townhouses, duplexes. This is the most relevant typologies in my mind. Next slide, please. So you can see different typologies. Next slide. And next slide. Yeah, and we also support the idea of building co-livings when we can have like people like that are alone or 1-2 people that are in the family, so they can live in small apartments, but they can be also engaged in social activities of the community, communicating with each other. Next slide, please. And energy is very important as well. Energy is efficiency. Next slide. And take care about CO2 emissions. They need to lower. You need to use sustainable materials. Next slide. So to deliver this project, what we discovered, it's important to have different sorts of funds. It's not just grants, it also should be loans. And a municipality should be ready to be a receiver of this loan. So in this way, we are in discussion right now with EBRD and European Investment Bank to create a program to support municipalities in order to be eligible to get these loans and to build this housing. And housing could be owned not just municipality, but also by private players if they are eligible to do so. That's why in Ukrainian legislation, we are thinking about adding not just municipal ownership, but also private ownership of this housing, like it's all over Europe, when there are housing associations, private partners, that are helping municipalities to grow housing stock and to manage this housing stock. So I believe a very important thing is to own who will be owning and who will be managing this housing. And for that reason, we believe that capacity building and programs that Alina shared, other programs of capacity buildings are very important for municipalities to grow and succeed in social housing development. So you can stop sharing. We are here to help. So in case you have your municipality interested in social housing, you can reach out to us. We are right now working with Mariupol to build communities of Mariupol citizens all over the country. And we are looking for land plots for this with access to social infrastructure and employment opportunities for people. So in case you're interested, you can always reach out to us and discuss possibilities of joint effort. And we are acting as an intermediary. We are basically connecting different stakeholders together in order to achieve final results, like quality housing for people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Victor, for this insight and practical example. And I would like to look into the round if there is specific questions to Alina or Victor regarding what they said, like something that remained unclear. Or also very much welcome some link that you found to your own work. I will break the ice. Victor, Alina, one question. We have a lot of stakeholders also representing German companies, German consultancies, the development sector. And Victor, you were speaking about complex solutions. So what contribution can one bring to the topic of reconstruction and housing? For example, if you're in the field of energy, in the field of water.
Yeah. Let me start. So I think private sector could be involved on many levels, especially right now because many countries have bilateral programs and funds dedicated to Ukraine. So what could be done? You should look for a local partner in Ukraine, because local partners understand local specifics of Ukraine. But you have knowledge, you have understanding how to attract funds, being in Germany, being in other European countries. So it should be a collaboration between knowledge and experience. And this way, I see the big opportunities. Like we are working in TTO project, we worked with Italian engineering firm, and they helped us to attract funding from Italian side, from Foreign Ministry of Italy. They also helped with networking with institution, big players. So you should have this like cohesion and this connection between local needs and international interest in supporting Ukrainian reconstruction, because funds are here. You need to be prepared. You need to have attractive projects to deliver. That's why I support the idea of bringing civil society, because civil society organization can bridge between private sector, government, and municipality needs. So in our case, I see we have a lot of opportunities, not just in terms of money, but also in terms of knowledge that could be shared about sustainable neighborhoods in Europe that could be applied to Ukrainian context.
Thank you.
I can also add.
Yes.
Thank you for this question, and thank you, Victor. You have provided such a general overview for the cooperation between private sector and other stakeholders, especially when private sector is from other countries, so international private sector representatives. At the same time, I can provide one example of such cooperation. It's about housing operators. As I mentioned in my speech, there is the institution of housing operators, providers. For example, in Germany, it is municipal housing companies. In Austria, it's housing associations. These are specialized companies which provide, sometimes they build and then they manage the affordable housing, social and affordable housing for different categories of people. In Ukraine, there is no culture of such institution, and because such institution is not legally mentioned in our legislation now, but due to the draft laws, due to the housing reform, which is now launched, there's an idea in our government to create such housing operators in Ukraine. So as for me, and we discussed it during the working groups with government, that it could be amazing if international partners, especially from Germany, Austria, and European countries, where social and public housing is very high developed. So these representatives of other countries, these representatives of housing operators can start their work in Ukraine as housing operators, and then they can cooperate with Ukrainian private sector, and with their investments and experience, they can create the joint, for example, German-Ukrainian companies like housing operators.
Thanks so much. And I have a question in the chat that stems into a similar direction by Tony Baumann. Tony, do you want to say it yourself and say a few words about yourself, who you are, what you work with? The question is, how do you set up this type of social housing in order to guarantee long-term financial, if limited profitability for municipalities? So question of...
Yeah, I can start to answer, and I am sure Elena will have something to add as well. In my mind, there are a few models that are right now considered on the market. The most advanced one is rented housing, when basically you will be renting housing for a long period of time, and through these rents, you will be basically repaying as a housing operator loans that will be provided to build this housing. Like this model is partly introduced by Europe Investment Bank on Ukrainian market, but it's also about combination of loan plus rent element, almost 50-50 right now. What I see as well as an opportunity is building mixed use, mixed income housing, like in Vienna, for example, where you can see a lot of housing that is basically have no difference from market rate housing. It just system that allows to build social housing with the quality needed to make it really dignified for people. So I think you need to think about added value that could be created in this house, and like you can build commercial property there, like a restaurant or store that will sell goods, and the profit will be used to maintain this house. And as well, you can also think about part market rate housing and part social housing. Like in our project, that we came to the conclusion that it could be proportion 70-30, 70 of market rate house and 30 of social housing. In this way, we can also make it a sustainable neighborhoods. When we have different types of house and different people living there, it will be really nice. So what else I'm thinking about is finding a way to enlarge a state of Ukraine. They can repay part of the loans if they see that this is a big lack of social housing. They can support this by repaying part of loan to decrease the level of burden over municipalities in like making this housing a possibility and building it and maintaining it. So these are my points.
Thanks so much. I see in the chat we have Martin Stock, and unfortunately we cannot, or I cannot read all of your comments because it's in a different format. Could you maybe share it audibly? That would be great, Martin. Martin Stock.
How shall I do this?
You can speak exactly. Maybe introduce yourself, what you're working on. I will also open for other topics a little bit.
Yes. So I just
zum Schilderfritze.
Ja.
you know,
Weiß ich mich dann 15 Uhr. Also.
Go for it, Martin. I think now all good.
Now I just want to excuse my bad English, but so I tried. I think I had only an idea here in Germany and in other countries for social housing with tiny houses. We produce this in Poland, and they are all mobile. So maybe it can be a project because you have no problem to bring it from the one point to the other point. So I just want to would tell you this project. And the second idea is for the waste management. We have a company. And we do all organic wastes into new values. So, and maybe this is interesting for social houses or for houses systems all over, because it's very short. It's a very short process. It's only 1 hour. And I say you can slaughter an animal, and 2 hours later you can give the gasoline to your car or tractor or what else. It was only this what I have to say.
Thank you so much. And just you're from Conversion Tech. What is your company all about, just so that we can place you?
So Conversion Tech is company. It's 3 years old, and we do alkalic hydrolysis, and we have a new. It's an old idea, but in a new way, we convert most organic waste to values,
Thank
to
you.
new values.
Thank you very much. And I'm looking into the round. I want to open also the floor for, you're here for a reason, I'm sure, and you're working in Kyiv Oblast or Kyiv City on reconstruction. So I would like to invite everyone to raise your hand. I'm sure you have something to share about your work, which could be interesting to the general audience, or you are looking for a special kind of contact, or you have some impulse to share about reconstruction in Kyiv. This is your moment.
Don't be shy, Gary said.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be shy. There's no right or wrong here. I will wait a little bit.
I can just comment about waste and usage, second usage of materials. I think it's a big potential, especially like I know some initiatives when companies abroad. In Europe, there are some regulations according to which if you are changing something in the building like windows, they basically go to waste, and they can be very easily used in Ukraine because we have a big tremendous need in in the glass because of the war. We have a lot of problems with it. So one of the initiatives that I know, Belgians are looking to bring this glass from existing buildings in that are rebuilt in Belgium to Ukraine, and it could be a big help. We can also reuse existing materials. I know a few initiatives that are working with the waste, with the rubble in Ukraine, and I know France is doing this. I know Scandinavian countries is interested, and I'm happy that Germany is also interested in it. So I will be happy to explore with you how you can do it in a meaningful and sustainable way, how to avoid bottlenecks in the process. Big important part the cost of it, because it requires a logistics, right? If you are delivering something from one country to another, you need to cross the border, and it taxes. It's part of profitability of this, but we can discuss. And the most important issue to understand who will pay for that, who will be funding this, because very important task, right? So we need to find the funds that are supporting this kind of intervention on Ukrainian reconstruction. Yeah, that's my point.
Thank you. And it also already bridges a bit into the topic of energy. And I saw that in the World Cloud that we had in the very beginning, that quite a few marked energy as your main topics. Who was that? Maybe you can raise your hand. Yes, Winfried Damm. As I assume there's quite a few people here working on energy and in its different aspects. Winfried, this is an invitation if you want to share a bit about what you're working on, what you're doing.
I'm working for GIZ, the German Development Corporation, and we have roughly 130 people working on energy in Ukraine, and with about 14, 15 different projects. My specializing is in district heating, so I'm working with Kyiv as a city. And I'm happy that right now the parliament is considering to make individual heat substation mandatory, which will really start a big investment in entire Ukraine. And the EIB, the European Investment Bank, is supporting this with 200 million euro of a loan for the sector. So there are many opportunities, and if anyone wants to know more about energy in Ukraine, reach out to us as GIZ.
Great, thank you, Winfried. And one more question, if I may. What is the question that keeps you up at night, regarding energy? What is for you the most pressing question?
Well, there are two things for Ukraine. One is become member of the EU, and then the general thing is reduce CO2 emissions, which means in Ukrainian context, become much more efficient. So Ukraine is spending, for example, in the heating sector, at least twice the amount of energy in comparison to the European countries.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Is there anybody else here who would like to take the threads and continue with the topic of energy? There's something new in the chat. And just company address. If not, I will ask about a second topic, because what I also saw in the World Cloud, quite big, was the question of mental health. So I would like to ask the same question into the round. Who of you works on mental health? It's a very different angle to look at communities and community building as well, right? So be brave and show up if you'd like to, and share with us what you're exactly working on.
In the meantime, if I may, I would like to ask additional question to Wilfried.
Yeah, sure.
Winfried. So about district heating, there are a lot of discussions. Are there some like one-way solution to develop in many neighborhoods all over the country? So based on your experience, do you have this understanding what could be the most suited models of district heating to Ukrainian market, to small neighborhoods? Because I know that if you create a district heating, it will mean that it will cost a higher price than just building like something more independent for separate houses. But at the same time, in the long run, in the life cycle of the project, it will be beneficial to have district heating because cost of utility fees will go lower. So tell us, if possible, about your experience, which technology you propose for Ukraine, given its climate and other parameters.
I can only agree what you have said. So I think everyone or every city with a kind of denser population. I'm not talking about an individual house somewhere in rural areas. That's a different issue. But if you have a sufficiently highly demand for heat, district heating makes so much more sense for the city, for the municipalities, for the environment, and so on. And keep in mind, Ukraine will become part of the EU soon. That implies by 2050, everything needs to be decarbonized. There is no gas any longer. So what is your heating source of tomorrow if you don't go for district heating? It's heat pump. And heat pumps are so more, let's say, efficient if you, let's say, combine it and serve multiple buildings with it.
Yeah, and do you identify the partners that normally work with municipalities? Because the cost is not easy to cover by municipality itself. So do you have understanding what could be the framework of partners to deliver this type of heating solutions for the municipalities? I mean, who is willing to fund this and who is funding it already in Ukraine?
Well, you have a lot of assets already given. So the grid in very many cities is much better than, let's say, in West Germany in many towns. So, and West Germany is now very much investing into new grids, which are already given in Ukraine. So preserve them and have proper maintenance on those things. Those companies are nowadays mainly in the hand of municipalities. So they're the owner. Ukraine just passed the law of corporatization. So these companies need to be, let's say, made proper companies, either limited or as a joint stock company. Then they get all the assets. Then they can take up loans easily. And there are banks who are providing those loans. And those loans and these investments are often very highly profitable. So the payback for the individual heat substations can be 2-3 years only. And this is a nice payback. Same is true for new boiler station, conversion to heat pumps, and other things coming up.
Very nice. So it also includes grant element from your experience, or it's only loan for municipalities?
Well, of course, nowadays there are quite some grants around, but I'm not a fan of grants. So yes, Christmas is coming every year. So probably you're lucky and have a proper Christmas wish, and if you behave proper, then the kids might get something. But real life it needs to be profitable.
Yeah.
And district heating is one of the key income sources, at least in German cities. And so cities would be very smart to take up and keep district heating and, let's say, develop it properly. I agree that currently the tariff for residential customers are not cost covering. So yes, many of those companies are in debt, and these debts are rising, and it's a major issue. And actually, Ukraine is losing in that sector about 500 to 800 million euro every winter. But this will change. The moratorium will come to an end soon, and the prices, as with electricity and gas, will and have to increase. But from my perspective, to make it very simple, and that's often not true, the prices will double and the demand for heat will halve because you become so more efficient, but then you will see much less open windows during winter time.
Thank you for this prediction and your relevant experience on this topic. Thank you very much.
Great. Speaking about relevant experience, Alina, Victor, there's a question in the chat if you can provide your contact details. So you're very much invited to do so if you'd like to. And I'm just once more looking if somebody working on the psychological and mental health sector would like to speak up. Not that I have invited you and then don't give you the floor. See, that doesn't seem to be the case. Anybody else would like to say, look, this is me, I'm working on that, and I'm looking for new information about, I'm looking for contacts, I'm looking to find an answer to a question. This is your last chance. While you're thinking, I can also already say that we will give you a few options of how to reach out to the platform and to each other as the platform really works on demand. Let's say, is there a topic that comes up regularly and needs to be addressed? Are there open questions that didn't find room? There's always the possibility to organize events, organize sessions, organize whatever formats in order to address topics that are of relevance. So I really want to say that. And Lena, this would be a moment to also share the screen again to show you how you can reach out to the platform and to each other. Exactly, maybe, yes. So you can take a photo of the screen. You can open the QR code. There's a LinkedIn group, there's a mailing list, and you can always reach out to the platform, to Marius, to Lena, to Marta, who couldn't be here today, for example. And this series of events on regions is a new format, and we're trying different ways of conducting it. So next point before you leave, I really very warmly ask you to answer a few questions. We will have another poll on how useful this event is and what how it could be maybe also organized better. So also here my question or request to Lena to open the poll once more. And you can just click through it. One is I'm satisfied with the event, and you can give stars. And there's overall 8 questions, so please do click through them. And I will give you a minute to do that. So far, we have 2 answers in. That's the very quick ones. We will wait as we have many more people in the room. And Lena, Marius, maybe you can give me a sign when you have enough answers, as I can not see the organizers' format of the poll.
I also can't see that yet.
All right. If you cannot deal with the poll, you can always also give us feedback in the chat. We'll wait for another, let's say, 30 seconds. And meanwhile, Lena, you can also start sharing the screen again. Exactly, because I want to explain 2 more things. I'm seeing there's still answers coming in, so please click through the questions. And maybe you can give me a sign when you're ready, if thumbs up, for example. We will have optional networking. I will explain this now. And then I will also give you an outlook of events that will happen quite soon. If you say, now it's 3 o'clock and I'd like to say something, I'd like to exchange with people, but this auditorium was a bit big for me. That's totally normal and perfectly fine. You can just stay now at 3 o'clock for another 15 minutes. And we will have breakout rooms with approximately 4 people per room. And Victor and Alina will also be there, and the platform will be there, and you can exchange. So explain who you are, and we have some inspiration for you. For example, speak about what was the most interesting information you got today. What makes you get up in the morning to get to work? What motivates you? And which question I also asked that Winfried keeps you up at night regarding the reconstruction and your engagement in it. This is just as ideas. You can imagine that if you go to a live conference and you have a panel discussion and you listen to the participants, and then you go out, there's coffee tables and you meet random people at a coffee table and you start exchanging. That's very often where the magic happens. And that's what we want to simulate in the virtual room. Of course, this is absolutely voluntary. You just have to stay and then we will put you in breakout rooms. So it will take a minute or something. I want also to inform about events that will happen quite soon. And we also have them on a slide. On 8th October, so in roughly 2 weeks, there will be an online event that you can register for on the winterization in Ukraine. So from emergency measures to systemic preparedness. Winter is coming soon, it's getting colder, and there's a lot of items to keep in mind. And then on 21st of October, another online event. This goes especially to the private sector. How do you organize your business trip to Ukraine? How will you be safe and well informed So that is a very practical session that we also kindly invite you to attend. Now, having said this, Victor, Alina, do you have last words you want to share with the audience, as you were the inspiration for today and the speakers?
So, okay.
Yes, Alina, you go.
I could be the first. Thank you very much for this meeting, and it was a great pleasure to see you and such a lot of different, absolutely different stakeholders here, and Ukrainian and international. And as I said, I hope for collaboration. And if any participants have any comments, propositions, questions, I also have shared my email, and I will be happy to stay in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, Alina.
Thank you as well from my side. I would like to say that just yesterday I was listening to the speech of Timothy Brick, like Dean of Kyiv School of Economics, about resilience of Ukrainians. And he found a very interesting pattern about success of municipalities. And success lies in the number of signed agreements by municipality. So no matter you are a big municipality or a small municipality, if you are signing agreements, it means you're looking for cohesion, you're looking for collaboration, and it gives some results. So please sign agreements with foreign partners, with local partners, with other municipalities, and this will lead to the success. And inspire you to think about social housing for people, because people, that's the core of our life, and people cohesion is what leads us to well-being as a community, as a society. Thank you.
And in this spirit, I will now build the bridge to the next very optional and voluntary part, which I think is a great part of this event, though. So if you would like to stay to network in smaller groups, please do so. If you want to run on, then you can leave the call now. I say a warm thank you on behalf of the platform and on behalf of myself as a moderator today. My name is Constanze, and we look forward to see you very soon again. And having said this, I think, Lena, you can prepare breakout sessions. And I will also in the chat just write those inspirational questions that can help you get the conversation moving.